Tamar, and this parsha tells my story about how my father-in-law, Judah, tried to trap me into a life of childless widowhood. And how, when I realized this, I dressed up as a prostitute and tricked Judah into sleeping with me, making sure that I could prove it. What I did could have gotten me burned, but it gave me the life, the children, and the future I deserved. Listen. I lived in a house where the angels were deaf, where every time I opened my mouth in song, the stars chided me. I was a widow. Where I walked, the children flinched. My silence was my fire, but my words were my fingers. And every day I went without speaking. I spent a night shivering, not daring to pray the prayers I knew were useless. Fear was the only thing that was mine, and I loved it. But it didn't love me. For I dreamt of a small, warm hand in mine, a voice that called my name in the music I'd forgotten. I knew that men frown upon a woman's happiness, but I dreamt of laughing, and I woke up smiling. I woke up smiling that day, and changed my spirit from black to red, and went out. And when I came back, I was still smiling, and full of my happiness, still unborn. I prayed myself to sleep, and listened to the angels singing with me. Tamar was lonely. She was lonely in that way you feel when no one seems to care what you think or you feel, or even whether you live or die, when your life doesn't seem to matter to the world. Motherhood was the only way Tamar could matter. Tamar didn't bear Judah a grandson, so he didn't care that she'd have no status, no life, when he doomed her to a life of childless widowhood. And Tamar's father, apparently, cared too little about his childless daughter to fight for her rights. Alone and insignificant, she could, like Eleanor Rigby, have been buried along with her name. But she would not let this perpetual loneliness be her fate. She took a stand against her loneliness and became the valiant warrior for connection that we see in the Torah, gaining 2 sons that would love her like no one had loved her before, and securing ultimate deliverance for her people as well. Judah wrote off Tamar. Because she hadn't given him a grandson, he didn't care whether she lived or she died. Don't we, as modern Americans, write people off all the time? When a person is impoverished or disabled or mentally ill or a troublesome child? Are we not writing teenagers off when we jail them for our safety and expect them to be cured when we let them out 5 years later? Even though Barack Obama has been elected, are we not still writing black boys and young black men off when 13% of black men in their late 20s are in jail? Many gay teens feel like second-class citizens, taunted and rejected, unaccepted by their families and communities. And many lonely, poor teen girls become mothers in order to matter to someone in a world that's written them off. We cannot honestly say that our country is with freedom and justice for all when so many lives do not matter. Tamar was lucky. Through her wits, she managed to steal a role for herself. But today, motherhood does not designate status. You might say that the new motherhood is college. But many intelligent students who might have been able to get a scholarship do not want to go to college because of their disillusionment with high school. I began high school this year, and I've often found it a stewing pot of loneliness. When teachers have hundreds of students, they cannot possibly form a close connection with them. But that's exactly what a lonely teen needs, someone who thinks their life matters. It might not be a stretch to say that the loneliness of high school makes teens more likely than any other age group to say that they are lonely. Even leads to a shocking 1 in 6 teens to have made suicide plans. If you begin to believe that your life doesn't matter to anyone, you might start to think, why stay alive? And that is the reason why we must show kids that their life does matter. One way is to sign up for a Big Brother, Big Sister program near you, as I am doing. Just be there as a warm shoulder, as someone to talk to. Show a kid you care. It could save a life. Nobody deserves to be nobody. We must show we care, because a life is not something to be passive about. We must stop to listen to those who are not being listened to. No one should live their lives feeling like the angels are deaf. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks. Okay.